Well, if you have a little one at home, chances are you're still dealing with them wetting the bed. But what age should they be growing out of all of that? And what does it mean if your 6, 7, 8, or even 9-year-old is still having accidents in their sleep? Dr. Marianne Lowe-Fermento is the author of the Simply Parenting series, and she joins us now from New Jersey with all the answers. Dr. Lowe, thanks for making a house call to Smart Family.
Oh, my pleasure.
Nice to see you. Hey, when do most children stay dry at night?
Well, most children will stay dry at night by age 6. I think that's kind of the cutoff point for most doctors of what's normal. Anything, you can really you can keep wetting the bed up until age 6, and it can be completely normal.
Okay, and then what causes bedwetting?
What really causes it, the most common cause is that it runs in your family. If a child is wetting the bed between the ages of 6 and 12, 13, then most likely either the father of the child or some other relative has also been wetting the bed. It's very common, more common in boys than in girls. And with each year, although there'll be a drop-off of a percentage of children who will stop bedwetting, it can actually go on until about 12 or 13 in some cases.
Wow, so genetic factors there are a big one. Can a child have just a small bladder?
Yes, they can have a small bladder. They could sleep too soundly. That's another reason. They could have a slight abnormality of one of the hormones that keeps urine in. And occasionally stress can make a child start bedwetting when they've been dry.
Okay, difficulty waking up, that can be another one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then slower than normal development, and that always makes us a little bit nervous when you're talking about that because we're just not sure what's on par. So we're going to start at 6, and anything after that we'll talk about in a moment. Okay, so then let's go into what does not cause bedwetting, because that's important too.
Absolutely. I think that's the most important job I have when I sit down with parents. It is not your child's fault. They cannot control this. It is not a behavioral problem.
Mm-hmm. So what are the treatments then for bedwetting? Because I know you can either talk medicine or you can talk behavioral. Let's do the behavioral first, because parents can actually really help with that part.
Absolutely, and medicine is always a last resort when it comes to children. The most common things are you limit fluids right before bedtime. Some parents, their child doesn't drink anything after 5 o'clock. Then you have them go to the bathroom immediately when you're starting kind of getting ready for bed, and then right before they usually fall asleep. You kind of nudge them, get them in there. Those are kind of the first line of treatment.
And what can your doctor do to help? I'm sorry. So then what can your doctor do to help if those things aren't working?
If that's not working, they're going to do a careful exam. They're going to test the urine, make sure there's no infection, make sure there's no diabetes. But they're also going to recommend maybe a bedwetting alarm system. That works for many, many motivated kids, especially if they're 9 years old or 10. A little detection of any kind of moisture, which happens right before they would normally start peeing, and that puts an alarm out, and the child wakes up and goes to the bathroom.
Okay, that's
That
great.
really helps a lot of kids.
Hey, you know, the other thing we should talk real quick, because we're almost out of time here, is that there's a real emotional process here that happens with kids who wet their bed. They feel horrible about it. How can parents help them?
Be supportive. Do not make them feel guilty. They can help with cleanup if there is a bedwetting, but do not make them feel like this is their fault. Just tell them you're going to grow out of it, and everything will be fine. And we can use some medications at a last resort. Go back to the doctor. They'll give them something, even if it's just for sleepovers.
All right, very good. Dr. Marianne Lowe-Fermento, thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate it.